Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with some of the crew.
Hey, I'm Ted.
I'm Nate.
And today we are going to D&Dized another Avenger. So who are we looking at today?
Well, I think we were looking at Thor.
Thor. That's a Thor subject. So possibly one of the mightiest Avengers there is. It's debatable between Thor and the Hulk. And so how do you guys see Thor being D&Dized?
All right. Well, you know, we talked about with some of the other characters, approaching and going beyond epic levels. So if you're going to give Thor everything that is Thor, you're going to really have to pack on those levels. So Nate had brought up, when we were talking off camera about what we wanted to do. He's like, well, the new release of the Storm Sorcerer definitely goes along well with Thor. And you mix that up with Tempest Cleric, you got a good mix for Thor.
Yeah, you got people flying all over the place from lightning damage. And
I've heard that a lot, but here's my thing, right?
Okay.
Thor doesn't really cast spells very much. He's got like 3 spells he uses, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Traditionally, Thor he'll call down lightning.
Yes.
He will fly.
Mm-hmm.
And he will control the weather.
Yes.
Well, maybe that's what he uses his spell slots for.
So, he's got 3 spell slots.
Hey, it's like Paladins in 5th edition.
All right,
you're a man of simple
although I could
means.
definitely see like Thunderwave as well.
Yeah.
So
are you trying to say this guy's going Warlock?
Maybe. No. I'm like, nah.
Is he a warlock of himself?
I'm just being the advocate for the other side of the coin. He's definitely some kind of fighter warrior, right?
Okay.
So for spells, he needs to have his control weather, he needs to have fly, and he needs to have lightning.
Every version of lightning.
Every version of lightning and thunderclap kind of stuff, I think, that you can stick into his character sheet.
Yeah.
So that's not actually that many levels, because I think control weather is the highest one.
Yeah.
Is that like a 4th level spell?
I don't know. I'm not sure what level it is. 4th, 5th level.
All right. Well, I'm thinking of the Tempest Cleric combined with.
Well, basically too, you could say like all the weather stuff, right? So although he doesn't do it often, like Hailstorm, I believe, or not, Sleet Storm is a spell.
Yes.
But I could definitely see Thor throwing that down.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. I guess so. It's more like, it feels more like we're going for the abilities than we are the actual spell casting from these different things. Which is fine.
I mean, if there was a fighter class that could have those powers, sure.
So are you trying to go in an alternate direction that, like, he's a fighter and the hammer has got, spell access?
Well, it could be that. I mean, or he could just freaking be wielding a hammer of thunderbolts. I mean, traditionally, Thor would have, like, magic gauntlets. Mm-hmm. He would basically have he'd have the gauntlets of ogre power, a storm giant belt, right? Even if he's already that strong.
Right.
As it is, and then like the hammer of thunderbolts, right?
Okay.
So you have that, and I think I've seen this suggested, and I kind of have to agree with it. I think he's an Azamar. We go Azamar with her.
I could totally see that.
That's probably the closest.
And stat wise, if you're going Tempest Cleric and Sorcerer, it completely works. But in addition to the 20 levels of each of those classes, I would throw on 10 levels of champion at least.
It depends upon how much you want to mix it up. I don't feel
he is a god, literally.
Literally.
Well, he's a guy that's got the hammer, so it's a little different.
So there's ways to add all of those things out there, but if you're wanting to just be
wait, back up, a guy with the hammer, even in the freaking movies, right? Even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's still the freaking son of Odin.
That's true. That is true. But, in the Marvel Universe, Odin's kind of like an alien being from another plane, not necessarily...
Yeah, but isn't that basically how you've referred to magic in the past as, like, technology? Isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't that the equivalent? Like, the gods are really just powerful aliens?
Yeah, there's the whole, Stargate aspect of that conversation, too. So, all right. So we'll call him a god because he is traditionally mythos. He's a god. In the Marvel universe, he's powerful enough to be on that level.
Well, in the Marvel universe, in the actual comic books, he actually is like sent to Midgard to learn humility, and he's given basically a human form. And there is that, and that's when he would have the cane, and he would tap the cane, and it would turn into the hammer, and then he'd become Thor.
Right. There's been a lot of things going on with it.
Yeah, but even in the
back.
movies, right? Thor was Thor, and then he almost not inadvertently, he almost started a war with the giants, and Odin is like, dude, you can't be starting a war with the giants. It's bad mojo. Now you have to be punished, and he took Thor's power away from him and put it into the hammer, and said whomever is worthy to wield the hammer will have the power of Thor. However it was, it's not verbatim, but so really he took Thor's power and put it in the hammer. It wasn't that he's got the power because of the hammer. The hammer's got the power because he was Thor.
Right.
Chicken or egg.
A lot of things have happened. Yeah. All right, so I'm not saying 2020 for Storm Sorcerer and Tempest Cleric. I think a decent amount to get all the weird special abilities from the class would be cool. It's going to give that kind of feel of it, and then I would say a lot.
So what, like 8, 17, 10?
So I think.
But, I think he's still really strong, like the Hulk. So we're going in the past 20.
Oh, easily.
Like 8, 17.
Right. So the other idea is
that'll put him at like 25.
So another idea is forget. Like while it's cool to be able to build up the Tempest Cleric, the few abilities that you're going to get out of Tempest Cleric,
level 8.
I don't know whether it's whether it fits all of the mold for him. So you could totally just do fighter Storm Sorcerer and just go that route. And his sorcerer spells, he flavors like, what, I don't feel like doing all those other things.
I just use these 3.
I just use these ones that I like. Well, control weather, fly,
gust of wind. There's like a lot of variations of the weather spells.
Yeah, any of the weather or lightning spells, he could do those. But magic missile is like, I got this. There's my magic missile.
Mjolnir to the face.
So it's. You can play a D&D character and mix things up and say, what, if it ain't fire, I ain't doing it. If it ain't lightning, I ain't doing it. I've got a character that is a fire sorcerer, and all of his
just
stuff
like Thor.
No, he's just as awesome as Thor.
No, he's nowhere near Thor. But if it's not dealing fire damage, he's not really interested in casting it, in combat.
So. What are we going to go with background here? Is it unanimously going to be Soldier?
I think it's got to be. If you look at the, again, going back to the cinematic universe, here he is being, presented.
Or Noble.
That's a tough one.
I think he should just pick Noble.
Yeah, but I think he acts more like a warrior and more like... He doesn't really lean on that very much.
Yeah, but he's got it. It's like street cred with anybody. Like, hey, did you know I'm the god of thunder and lightning? Just saying, before we start this meeting off, that's who you're talking to.
You want to try and pick up my hammer? You can't, can you?
If you
hold this for me.
Again, going back to the movies, if you look at how he acts when he's sent back, he
is very.
He does keep going back to that. It's like, I am Thor.
Yeah.
So
and I think part of the nobleness is that you come from a completely different perspective on life. There's just a certain amount of respect that you should get
when you're a guy,
or
a noble, They're almost the same.
Yeah,
depending who you ask.
Just power scales.
So I think So we got noble, and you can either go for massively epic, with fighter, cleric, sorcerer, or you can have him more fightery.
I like the knockback from sorcerer or from cleric.
It definitely fits, but he doesn't ever do anything else cleric-y.
Well, that's true.
So just don't give him any of the cleric stuff. You're a god. Really, do gods have cleric levels? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I grant myself spells.
That esoteric question is not to be encompassed in this D&Dizing of Thor.
Thor has cleric levels, and he prays to himself.
Yeah. Hey, Pops, hook me up.
So, you could definitely say, all right, he's cleric, and the way he shrugs off damage, is when you're not looking, he's healing himself.
Right.
I just don't see it. It's, I don't know.
That's a valid point.
Healers are just hit point givers to you, aren't they?
Yes, pretty much.
No, those are divine conduits.
How more divine conduit can you get than being the actual conduit giver?
Because he's the god.
That's like being like the power station of the neighborhood. Oh yeah, do you have power? Well, I don't have wires going to my house. I don't have a house. I'm the power station.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Like, you know, he'd be like, you know, cast spells, I grant them.
Yeah.
What?
I grant those to my followers, and sometimes I use them for myself.
So, you know, what you could do is you could say, all right, well, how about he's a fighter storm sorcerer, and his DM has allowed the one power that you want from cleric as an epic boon.
Oh, that works.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll let you get away with that, Ted.
Lightning slap.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I actually like, you know, right now we don't have access to the epic level, you know, information. We just have the boons. I've only got
Just
one.
the boons.
Just the boons.
Just
you know.
epic boons.
You know, and some DMs who I've talked to that have got epic level games, it's like, well, I only want to deal with what's, you know, written in the book. Other DMs are like, well, you know, if you get there, you know, there's nothing to say that you can't create your own boon and have it approved by
Even
the
if
GM.
even if he was only 21st level, it's 30,000 XP to get an epic boon, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
every 30,000 XP is when they're
Yes.
saying, "Yeah, why don't you give it to them?" That's a long time.
Well, yeah, but what's XP to Thor? Come on.
Well, yeah. So I mean, in game terms, that's not.
He
that's
kills
like,
more giants before breakfast than most people do all day. So, you know.
So what breakdown? We got Storm Sorcerer, we've got Champion, and we've got Epic
boon.
level boon
Yeah.
for the knockback.
So we got him at about 41st level here.
Yeah,
Something like that.
that works.
He needs at least 17 levels of
Storm Sorcerer.
a Storm Sorcerer.
18 levels.
Oh, is it
to fly?
18?
Yeah. To fly.
Yeah. And he also gets the immunities.
Yeah.
And he can make the other people fly with him, which is kind of Thor-esque, like with the whole weather thing, I think.
And technically, you know, if you wanted to, you know, give him some more power, you know, one of the boons is you can cast a 3rd level spell at will, so he could do the fly whenever he wanted. But you know, if he's got all of the different levels in Sorcerer,
He probably doesn't need it.
He probably doesn't need it because he's like, well, I'm just going to go in and fight. But you know,
But
if
when I need
be.
to fly, I just use all these spell slots. People complain about sorcerers don't have enough to do with their spell slots. Not me. I got too many spells to cast. I only need 3. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Different flavors of lightning.
Yeah, if I can't kill it with lightning, thunder, or flying, then I'm just gonna hit it with my hammer.
That works. So what do we think? We got Thor set.
I think so. Azamar, Noble, Champion, Storm Sorcerer
With some
boons
Some boon
going
power.
on.
Yeah.
Because he's Thor.
He's Thor.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? Did we cover it? Did we not cover it? Let us know down in the comments. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out on nerdarchy.com.
You can also join the conversation over on Reddit.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.